Make yourself comfortable, whether that's in a seated position or lying down or even sitting on your couch if that's more comfortable to start. Whatever works for your hips and your knees and your ankles. Let's take a couple of shoulder shrugs where you draw your shoulders up towards your ears and then let them drop down your back. Just kind of notice what your body feels like this evening. And then allow your shoulders to drop down and try to position yourself so that your elbows are falling beneath your shoulders. So you're not reaching your hands forward and potentially slouching through your upper back, but you're allowing your elbows to fall beneath your shoulders, chest stays open and broad. And close your eyes. Begin to notice your internal landscape. Notice first your breath. That tends to be the most obvious for a lot of us, is just noticing the kind of cadence and the rhythm of your inhales and your exhales. And also what that can tell you about other areas of your body and other kind of states of mind. So notice how your breath relates to your physical space, but also how your breath relates to your mental space. And if maybe by slowing your breathing down or bringing a little more of your focus and attention to your breath, you can begin to settle some of those parts of your brain that may be jumping around a lot in this crazy time that we're in. And then begin to notice if you're carrying tension anywhere in your body, particularly in your face, your jaw, or your neck. And if you can, just begin to consciously kind of relax some of those spaces. Let the muscles soften. Maybe let the breath come a little more easefully. Let's just take a few more breaths like this. And now keeping your eyes closed, drop your right ear towards your right shoulder and just start to find a stretch along the left side of your neck. And then inhale your head back to center and drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. You're going to drop a little bit through the right shoulder. See if you want your right shoulder to be heavy. And then inhale again back through center. Exhale, right ear towards right shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale, left ear towards left shoulder. And inhale back to center. So drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. This time we're going to take the right hand and bring it around and just add a little bit of pressure on the left side of your head. So this might be as far as you want to go. If you want to add to this, you can reach your left arm out to the side, maybe turn so that the palm is facing behind you, and then wrap your left hand behind your back, almost as if you're reaching your left hand towards your inner right thigh. Good, another couple of breaths. And then we'll release both arms, bring the head back to center. And then on the other side, drop your left ear down towards your left shoulder. Take your left hand and place it on the right side of your head. Add a little bit of extra weight there. And then you can either stay here or extend the right arm out. Turn the hand so it's facing behind you, and then draw your right hand towards your lower back. I find that this is a really good stretch for the side of the neck, the shoulder, the front of the chest, all those places that I tend to carry tension. And then we'll release both hands. Let them rest on your legs. If your eyes are still closed, you can go ahead and open your eyes. Let's inhale, bring both arms up overhead. On your exhale, drop your left hand down, take a side bend towards your left side, and just really reach and extend through your right fingertips. Good. Inhale, bring both arms back up. Exhale, right hand comes down. Take your side bend towards your right side. Think about that stretch in between the ribs, the stretch between the bottom of the ribs and the top of your pelvis. And then let's inhale, both arms back towards the center. Exhale again to the left side, stretching out along the right side. This time, let's turn it towards the ceiling. So we're combining the side bend with just a little bit of a twist. Right, so we're kind of turning the chest towards the ceiling. And then inhale, both arms back to center. Exhale, right hand comes down, left arm reaches up overhead. And then the same thing, just turn slightly towards the ceiling. Good. Inhale your arms back up. And then exhale, release your hands down by your side. Take another couple of shoulder shrugs here. And maybe think about squeezing the shoulder blades together as you draw the elbows and the shoulders down the back. So you give a little bit of an extra kind of awareness towards your upper back and the muscles in between your shoulder blades. And then we're going to move from here to our tabletop position. So you can transition however you like to get there to tabletop. And I always like a little bit of cushioning under my knees because why not? Why not make it comfortable when you can? Take your hands not beneath your shoulders, but slightly in front of your shoulders so that you're able to kind of bring the weight towards your knuckles rather than resting back in the heels of your palms. And then we're going to warm up the spine through cat-cow movement. So on an in-breath, drop your belly, lift your gaze. And then on your out-breath, round through your back, tuck your chin to your chest. And just follow the pace of your breath through your inhales and your exhales, your cat spine and your cow spine. And what we want to look for in our breath when we're practicing is that we're able to maintain kind of a steady awareness and control of the breath so that it doesn't get away from us. We're not, this isn't cardiovascular activity. We're not trying to breathe heavily or breathe through our mouths, but try to keep a steady, even, controlled breath. And if you want to add in any movements to your cat-cows, if you want to shift your hips side to side, or circle your hips around, or even maybe kind of have this forwards and backwards rocking motion where you're moving from a child's pose, maybe forwards towards a cobra or a small back bend. Just figure out what your body needs over the next few breaths, kind of warm up. And then when you're ready, we'll move from here into downward facing dog. Right, so you're going to tuck your toes under, make sure your hands are firmly planted. You want to spread your fingers, press into your index finger knuckle, and then lift your hips towards the ceiling. It's always okay to have bent knees in your downward dog, especially if your hamstrings are kind of tight or you've been sitting all day. Start in a bent knee position so that you can really keep your spine in a more neutral position. And as you're ready to warm up your downward dog, begin to pedal your feet out. Bending one knee deeply as you drop the opposite heel. Notice how, as you increase the movement in your body, your breath might start to change a little bit. It might come more quickly, which is fine. Like, there's no reason why you can't breathe a little more rapidly as you're moving, but you still want to have that control over your breath. And then as you're ready, just settle into kind of this steady, strong downward facing dog where your hands are rooted. Sit bones are lifting up and back towards the ceiling. Allow your head to drop, so maybe shake out your head a little bit side to side. Find some length through the sides of your neck. And then let's inhale, roll forward into a plank position. So sometimes you'll need to wiggle your feet back a little bit as you come to plank from downward facing dog. Make sure you're engaging through your lower abdomen. So you don't want to have this kind of hip drop here or right a hip lift. You want to be kind of right in that middle where you almost feel like you're wrapping around from your lower abdomen, lower rib cage. Really notice the connection between your lower rib cage and the top of your pelvis. And a little bit of space and broadness across your lower back. Now we're going to lower onto forearms, one arm at a time. So starting with your right elbow, lower the right elbow down, and then lower your left elbow down. So you're in this kind of forearm plank position. And then we're going to lift the hips into a dolphin pose. So lift your hips up, step your feet in, keep pressing into your palms, keep pressing into your elbows. Think about your elbows drawing in, even as your fingertips kind of reach out towards the sides. And then here too, you want to allow your head to drop. And for some of you, that might mean that your head actually touches the floor. And that's okay. Just take a couple of breaths. And now we're going to inhale back to our forearm plank. So again, you're going to step your feet back, draw your chest forward. And then one hand at a time, we'll start with the right side. So right hand plants, left hand plants back to your plank pose. And then on your next exhale, downward facing dog. And lift your right leg for your three-legged dog. On your exhale, draw your right knee into your chest. Inhale, three-legged dog. And exhale, knee to chest, pull it in and up. Inhale, three-legged dog. This time on your exhale, step your right foot forward and lower your back knee onto the ground. Untuck your back toes. So here's where you may want to grab blocks. If you have blocks, you can place your hands on your blocks. We're going to spend a few breaths in our low lunge position. All right, so you can have your hands in your blocks. You can bring your hands up onto your right thigh. You can also reach your arms up overhead. So just figure out the variation that works for your body. We're looking for a stretch here through the front of the left thigh. And now release your hands to your blocks, straighten through your front leg, maybe shift forward a little bit. Take an inhale, lift your chest. On your exhale, fold over your front leg. And now draw that foot back, plant your right foot, tuck your back toes under. And you're going to lift your back knee. Inhale, rise up. Let's take hands to heart center as we rise up. And then on your next exhale, step your left knee into your chest. You may do it in one step. You may have to take a couple different steps for this. And then flex through your left ankle, cross your left ankle over your right knee. And then just drop down into this figure four chair. There's a little bit of a balance pose. I'm getting a little bit wobbly in the figure four chair. You can always hold on to the wall or a chair or anything else that you have that can help steady yourself. You can maintain hands at heart center. You can hold on to your foot and your knee, place your hands or even your elbows on your leg if you like. I'm going to keep my hands here at heart center. Stick a couple more breaths. Notice the work that's being done in your right leg. And now we're going to slowly straighten just enough that you can unhook the left leg, step it back, landing it into your high lunge, reach your arms up overhead. Maybe lift your gaze. And then on your next exhale, plant your hands, step your right foot into your downward facing dog. Let's just take a moment to move around in your downward dog, pedal your feet out, shake out your head. Notice your breathing. And then on your next inhale, we'll pull forward to our plank position. And again, adjust slightly. Typically, your downward dog is a little bit shorter. than your plank. So you might have to wiggle your feet back a little bit. Move the block so you can see better. Now we're going to lower down again to the forearms, this time starting with the left elbow. So lower your left elbow and then your right elbow. So you're in your forearm plank, elbows hug in, hands come wide. Keep your breath steady, keep the lower ribs drawing in, and now lift your hips, step forward, coming into your dolphin pose. So dolphin pose is just like our downward dog, except our elbows are on the ground. So you want to have that nice long spine. Heels can be up. We're still stretching the hamstrings, the calves, and the bottoms of the feet. Try to let your head be heavy. Just let your head drop down. Now let's inhale back to our forearm plank. So chest comes forward, feet step back, and then starting with the left hand, place the left hand down, right hand down, and back into your downward facing dog. This time, left leg lifts for your three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to chest, shoulders come forward. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, three-legged dog. Last time, stepping forward, knee to chest. Pull your foot through. And then lower your right knee onto the ground. So you can take your blocks. If you're using your blocks, so you can have hands on your blocks. You can have hands on your thigh, or even reach both arms up overhead. And so just figure out where you're finding the stretch that you need, where you're finding the effort that you want to extend in this pose. Sometimes there's poses that you want to put more effort into and poses you want to put less effort into. I'm not sure why I decided to do forearm planks and dolphins today. I did an arm workout yesterday that kind of wrecked my arms, so it was, in retrospect, not the wisest decision, but here we are. All right, bring your hands down, straighten through your front leg. You might shift your heel forward a little bit. Take an inhale, lengthen your spine, and then on your exhale, fold over your left leg. And see if you can settle your breathing down. See if you can find these moments in your practice where the effort decreases enough, you can kind of regain and refocus your attention on your breath. And let's lift up, plant your left foot, tuck your right toes under, lifting your right knee off the ground. And then let's inhale, rise up, crescent lunge, but hands to heart center for this crescent lunge. And now we're going to bring the right knee forward. So we're stepping onto the left foot, bringing the right knee into the chest. Flex through your right foot and then cross right ankle over left knee. So as you kind of drop in to your figure four chair pose, maybe notice how this side might be a little bit different than the first side. Maybe your balance is steadier, mine is not on my left side. Maybe you're feeling more open through the right hip. Right? Just see if you can notice how your body is different from side to side, from moment to moment. And take a couple more breaths. And then when we release this, we're only going to draw up enough that we can unhook the right foot and then send the right foot towards the back of the mat. Right, just settle in. Doesn't have to be a perfect crescent lunge. Just kind of dropping here for a moment, feeling the hips, feeling the work of the legs. And then your next exhale, hands to the floor. Step your left leg back into your downward facing dog. And then just take a moment to kind of reassess. And notice what's happening in your downward dog. On your next inhale, plank pose. And then on your exhale, we're going to lower. Move that blanket out of the way. We're going to lower all the way to the floor. And then let's bring the elbows forward. Let's prop ourselves up onto our elbows again. So that we're in a sphinx. We're in our sphinx pose. So forearms are parallel to one another. Fingers are spread. And see if you can take your hands slightly wider than your elbows. Right, so the options here, you can either stay here, find the stretch through the front body, find the engagement through your back body. If you want a deeper back bend, then root into your palms and straighten your elbows. So that your hands are out in front of you, you're increasing a little bit into the kind of curvature of your lower back. But you want to maintain that openness of the chest, the reach and extension of your neck. So you're not hunching, we're not trying to kind of drop in here, but rather reach up, lengthen through the sides of the neck, the sides of the rib cage. And then draw the elbows in, place them back down on the ground. Try to keep your chest lifted, but bring your hands back so that they're next to your rib cage. This time we're inhaling into our King Cobra, right? So elbows straighten, chest lifts. Exhale, lower back down. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, lift to your King Cobra. This time, maybe press into the tops of your feet, lifting your thighs and your knees off the floor for upward facing dog. And then on your exhale, downward facing dog, hips lift. From this downward dog, walk forward, bringing yourself to a standing forward fold, right? Feet about hip width distance apart. Relax through your head and your neck. Maybe shake out your head a little bit side to side. I always keep a little bit of a bend in my knees, and you might want to do that, especially if you're feeling any sensation in your lower back. Just make sure that you're taking care of yourself and taking care of your body. You shake out your head here. Rock on your feet. You can rock side to side. You can rock front to back. Right, and then we'll inhale, lengthen the spine, come halfway up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Rise all the way to stand. And then your exhale, bring your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers, lift your chest on an in-breath. And then on your out-breath, fold forward, dropping your head, dropping your arms, maybe moving a little bit side to side, maybe shaking out your head. Press into your feet, inhale, come all the way up. Release your hands, reach towards the ceiling, take a back bend here. And we'll do that again, this time with the opposite interlace. So take the interlace that probably feels a little less comfortable. Inhale, straighten the elbows, lift the chest. Exhale, fold. And again, shake out your head. Maybe move a little bit side to side through your arms. And press into your feet. Inhale, rise up. Reach your arms towards the ceiling, take a little back bend, and then on your exhale, hands down by your side. And we're just going to come to mountain pose towards the front of your mat. And I'm just going to adjust my mat slightly. Okay. All right, I think that's a little bit better. All right, so find your mountain pose, shoulders back. Think about extending from the bottoms of your feet. So really root down through the bottoms of your feet and then lengthen up through the crown of your head. So as we take our sun salutations, make sure you follow the pace of your breath. Inhale, reach both arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway, lengthen your spine. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to your plank pose. Lower knees up or down through chaturanga, bend your elbows. Inhale, cobra pose or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths. Notice how your downward dog feels. Notice if you still need to kind of wiggle around in it. Notice if maybe you're starting to settle into kind of a place of stillness, both in your physical posture, but also maybe in the movements and activity in your mind and your brain. Lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward, step, hop, or walk to the front of your mat. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, Tadasana. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant your palms, step or hop plank, lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in your downward dog. And lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward, step, hop, or walk. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, Tadasana. Inhale, chair pose, bend your knees, reach your arms towards the ceiling, settle in, and see if you can draw your shoulder blades back and slightly down. But really hug your arms in and find extension through your side. On your exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, plant your palms, step or jump plank, lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Spin your left heel down, step your right foot to the front of your mat, and inhale, rise up for your warrior one pose. Turn your chest towards the front of your mat, bend deeply into your right knee. And then take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. Inhale, straighten your elbows. Exhale, fold over your front leg. Drop your head a little bit here, maybe shake it out. Root through your front foot. Inhale, rise up. Reach your arms towards the ceiling. Keep the chest forward. Right? Back into your warrior one pose. And then we're going to transition from warrior one to warrior two, which is not a seamless transition. So let's bring the hands to the waist. We're going to have to kind of step the back foot more in line with the front foot so that you can turn towards the side. Right, so as I line up my warrior two pose, my right heel, right, if I were to draw a line from my right heel back, is going to intersect somewhere along my left inner foot. Right, usually around the arch, but it can vary. Extend your arms out to the side. Bend into your right leg. Draw your shoulders back. See if you can slow your breathing down. See if you can come to a place in your warrior two where you find strength and steadiness. And turn your head if you're not already doing that. I was looking towards the camera, but you can look past your right fingertips. But just notice, sometimes when you turn your head forward, you kind of drag the back shoulder. Right? You do this kind of thing where the back shoulder comes with it. So you can keep your chest open and just turn the head towards the right. And then bring your right forearm down, reach your left hand out for your extended side angle pose. If you want to go a little bit deeper here, you can either bring your right hand to a block. I like to use the block here. You can also bring it to the floor, but if you're aiming for the floor, try not to disrupt the rest of the pose. Try not to let the rest of the pose fall apart, right? I don't want to put my hand on the floor if this is what my pose turns into, right? So it's better to stay up slightly so that you can have your chest open and you can continue to maintain that length through the left side of your body. And I'm going to inhale back to warrior two. Let's straighten the front leg for a moment. We're going to, it's hard to practice and talk at the same time. We're going to bring the arms into eagle arms. And we're going to take eagle arms with the right elbow on top, right? So a couple options here. You can wrap your hands around. So I've got right elbow on top, and this can be your eagle arms. Or you could try the full wrap, where you're kind of grabbing onto your palms. If neither of those work, one of these options should work for everybody, but if not, you can always just bring your hands and forearms together like this. So I'm going to take the full wrap. I'm going to bend again into the right knee. So come back to your warrior two legs. And let's turn the chest slightly forward and fold to the inside of the right leg. Maybe aiming your fingertips down towards the ground. Right. We're going to keep the arms where they are. Inhale, rise back up. Now the front knee is going to stay bent, but we're going to lift the back heel and turn the foot. So we're kind of coming into our crescent lunge position here. Again, maintaining the eagle arms or some semblance of eagle arms. And if that becomes too much for balance, you can always let that go. Right? You can always bring your hands to your waist or hands to heart center, whatever you need here. Okay. So we're going to step forward again like we did in the warm-up. We're going to bring the left knee towards the chest, flex the left foot, cross the left ankle over the right knee, and then drop into this figure four chair position. So we're going to do a little kind of flow here where we're transitioning between our figure four chair, again, maintaining your eagle arms, and I'm going to turn slightly so you can see this. You can see it from the side. So this is our figure four chair, and then we're going to do the kind of almost eagle pose, right? Where we're going to wrap the left foot around, but we're not going to quite grab or squeeze in, right? We're going to hover it and then bring it back to figure four. Right, remember, you can always change your arm position. I'm going to change my arm position here. Right, hands to heart center. So figure four chair, almost eagle, which seems to be a little bit harder than the actual eagle. Back to your figure four chair. One more time, almost eagle, stretch it out. And then this time we're going to take the left foot, send it all the way back towards your warrior three. I'm going to turn back here. So we're coming back to warrior three. Find your balance. Let's bring both hands onto the right thigh, then slightly into your right knee, and then step your left foot back. Reach your arms up. I hope you all feel that. I feel that in my outer right hip. I have a lot of feels in my outer right hip right now. Okay, here we are, crescent lunge, settle in. On your exhale, hands to the floor. Step back, plank pose. And now let's lower right elbow, lower left elbow. Coming again to our forearm plank. And then step in, lift your hips for your dolphin pose. Drop through your head. Follow your breath, follow your inhales, your exhales. See if you can take dolphin as almost a resting pose. Don't get mad, I know it's not a resting pose, but almost. Step your right foot in slightly, lift your left leg. Keep pressing into your hands. Now drop your left foot towards the middle, lift your right foot. Drop your right foot back down, step your feet out. Bring your chest forward. We're on the right side, so we're gonna bring right hand down, left hand down, press back, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg, three-legged dog. And then on your exhale, bring the right knee into pigeon prop. Whew, I need this. Okay. For pigeon prep, I always like to have some kind of support. I've got a nice yoga blanket here. Maybe you have a pillow or a couch cushion or something you can position underneath your outer right hip. Right, and go ahead, tuck your back toes under. I find that this helps to kind of straighten everything up for me. Tuck your back toes under, maybe lift your back knee a little bit. Now we're not looking for anything to be squared or even in our pigeon prep, right? What we're looking for really is a stretch to the outer right hip, a stretch to the front of the left thigh, for us not to be putting strain on our knee, on our back, even on the ankle. So see if you can find the stretch without kind of pushing yourself or forcing into a position which your body doesn't want to go to. You can untuck the back toes and either stay here in this upright position for the next minute or so, or walk your hands forward. I'm actually going to use a block under my elbows because my back does not really like this pose all that much. But it does feel really good right now to stretch to the outer right hip. So see if you can relax through your face and your jaw. See if you can let your breath return to its normal pace. You're probably not as out of breath as I was, because you're probably not talking as you're practicing, which brings an added complication. Good. And then let's, if you're on your elbows, press yourself back to your upright position. Let's just take a little bit of a back bend here. So maybe the back bend is simply placing your hands on the floor to either side of your hips. Maybe you want to add in the quad stretch where you bend your back leg and kind of draw your foot in towards your body a little bit. You decide what works for you this evening. All right, and then if you've got your foot, release it back, plant your hands. We'll step back into downward facing dog. If you want to take a flow through here, feel free to take your flow through. I'm actually going to turn myself around so that I'm not turning my back to you when we do the second side. All right, so once you're back in your downward facing dog, let's bring the right heel down, step your left foot forward. So we're starting in our warrior one. So inhale, rise up to warrior one. Reach your arms towards the ceiling. Turn your chest towards the front of your mat. See if you can really press into your back foot, right? You want to root really firmly into the back foot. Keep your back knee straight. Hips are going to be open, that's okay. Just turn your chest forward. And now take your hands, interlace your hands behind your back. For the second side, take the interlace that is less comfortable, assuming you did the more comfortable interlace on the first side. Inhale, straighten your elbows. Exhale, fold forward. You really want to keep your legs steady and strong. And then press into your front foot. Inhale, rise back up, warrior one. And now we're transitioning here to warrior two. So hands to your waist, heel toe your left foot across, right? Step your right foot open a little bit so that your torso can mostly be open to the side. And the front knee is bent to the front, that's the left leg. Arms extend out. And then turn your head in the direction of your left hand. So just like in warrior one, the back knee is steady, back leg is steady, back knee is straight, right foot is firmly planted. So just because the back leg doesn't have the appearance of doing the same amount of work as the front leg, doesn't mean that we ignore it completely, right? It's still integral to the pose. Turn your head towards your left hand, right? Notice the work that's being done in the left leg. And now bring your left elbow to your thigh. Reach your right arm out for your extended side angle pose. Okay, an option, again, like on the first side, is to bring your hand down to a block. I like to put the block on the outside of the foot. If that's available to you, try that. If you really like putting it on the inside of your foot, I'm not going to stop you. Just figure out, I mean, how could I stop you? Y'all can't even really see you. So do what you need to do in your practice. And just breathe. Whatever you choose for the pose, just breathe. All right, and let's inhale, rise back to warrior two. And now we're going to straighten the front leg as we arrange the arms. So let's see, we have left elbow this time on top, I believe. Left elbow, yes, left elbow is on top. So you can either do the kind of self-hug, which is always nice, or you can wrap your forearms completely, right, lifting the elbows. And, or you can press the forearms together, right? So those are your options here. And you can always change, maybe you do the eagle arms for part of this, and then you let it go for part of it. But we're gonna start back in our lunge. So bend through the left knee, and then lift your back heel. Turn, right, it's an awkward transition. You gotta turn so that your right heel is off the ground and your right toes are pointing forward. Take an inhale here, and then let's exhale, fold forward, bringing your fingertips towards the floor. I actually think on the first side we did this from warrior two, but it doesn't matter. Just take a couple of breaths. And now press into your front foot, inhale, rise back up. So here's where we're gonna try to keep the arms in this position and step the back foot forward. So you might take a couple of steps. Right? As we probably noticed, I'm not as steady on my left foot as I am on my right foot. So right foot, right knee comes in, cross your right ankle over your left knee. We're dropping into that figure four position, right? Still maintaining eagle arms if possible. And our flow, and I'll turn around, I'm gonna probably wobble here as well. I'm gonna turn around to face you so we can do our little faux eagle pose flow. So we're dropping, we've got our figure four. Okay, we're gonna bring the right leg across now, not really touching knee to knee like we do in eagle pose, but reaching the leg out and then bringing it back into our figure four. And if at any point you need to release the arms, you can bring the hands to your waist or hands to heart center. So we're gonna bring the right leg across, almost to eagle, but not quite. Somehow it's harder. I learned this one from Jackie Johnson. Super hard. One more time. Bringing the right leg across, not dropping into the eagle pose. None of your left outer hip is burning. Bring it back. And then we're sending it towards warrior three. So I'm gonna turn back to the side. Whoa. Coming into warrior three. And then from your warrior three, steady and strong, drop your right leg towards the back of your mat. Find your crescent lunge. Right, notice what your breath is like. Now maybe we've evened things out and you have the same whoo sensation in your outer left hip as you had in your outer right hip. I doubt that it's just me. It could just be me. Who knows? On your next exhale, hands to the floor. We're going to step back to plank. And now lower left elbow, lower right elbow. Lift your hips, step your feet in. Step your left foot in, lift your right leg towards the ceiling. Lower the right leg down. Lift your left leg. Lower the left leg down. Find your dolphin. Breathe. And now step your feet back. Draw your chest forward. Plant your left hand. Plant your right hand. Step back, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg, three-legged dog. Slowly with control, bring your left knee into your pigeon prep. And then if you're using props, if you're using a blanket underneath your hip, position that, maybe tuck your back toes under, and kind of lifting your back knee, finding that extension. And then when you're ready, you can untuck the toes. It's okay, whatever's happening in your back leg, just let it happen. If your foot is sickling in, just let it happen. Don't try to like get too wrapped up in what your back leg is doing. Really ever. Just focus on, oops, I didn't turn my thing off. Just focus on finding the stretch through the outer left hip and monitoring your breath, making sure that you're coming into that even, steady breath. So you can either stay upright if that works better for you, or you can fold forward. Again, we'll be here for about a minute. So figure out where you can more kind of happily stay and what version of the pose, and just settle in. See if you can start to get your breath under your control. See if you can follow your inhales and your exhales. And notice if there's tension creeping into your body. Notice if your jaw's clenching or your forehead is furrowing. You can let all of that go. And now if you are folded forward, you can press yourself back to an upright position. I'll leave my block here actually. And either kind of find your little back bend, hands alongside your hips, or bend your back leg, reach back for your foot. And find a quad stretch. I'm doing a lot of running. I really think it's tightening up my quads. Usually this is not quite so hard for me. All right, release your foot back behind you. Plant your hands, step back. Bind your downward facing dog. All right, you can take your flow through here if you really like to take your flow through. I'm gonna pass on that one tonight. And if you're not opting for the flow through, just take a few breaths in your downward dog. See if you can kind of notice how things in your body have shifted and changed throughout your practice. And then lift your heels, bring your knees to the ground, and come to a seated position. So I'm going to use my blanket to sit on, and I'm going to face you all as I come on my blanket. So we're gonna spend another couple of minutes stretching out through the outer hips. We do a lot of stuff, a lot of things through the outer hips. So let's go ahead and bend both knees, placing your feet on the floor. And then cross your right ankle over your left knee. So you can bring your hands behind you if you'd like, step your foot in, and find that figure 4 position here. If your hips will allow for it, you can step your left foot in a little bit and start to stack your shins towards this fire log pose. Another option, if you want to sit upright and fire log is a bit too much on your hips, is you could sit with the right leg in front of the left leg instead of on top. So if your hips are really tight, you'll just put your foot forward. If your hips are going to allow for fire log, you can stack your shins. You can also, maybe if you want to prop a block up underneath. That's not necessary, even if you have the space. It's not necessary unless you feel like you're putting a lot of pressure on your other knee and you need extra support. Right. So our props should be in service of our bodies in the poses. Right, not just they're there just because there's space. So, okay, a few breaths in your fire log pose. Maybe you want to fold forward, maybe not. And then if you're folded forward, let's sit back up. Now the right leg is on top. So we're going to take the right leg, extend it out to the side, pull the left foot in, turn towards your left knee. Your left knee is the bent knee. Bring your right hand towards your left knee, lift your left arm, and then side bend towards your right leg. Inhale, come back up. Let's bring both legs out in front. Your windshield wiper your knees a little bit side to side. And then we'll take those stretches on the other side. So the left ankle now crosses over the right knee. So you can do the same thing. One across her, one apart behind me. You can step your right foot in. You can take that figure 4. Right, and you just rock it side to side. If you want to move towards fire log, step your right leg in, begin to sit upright. And again, if this is, and maybe you were okay on the first side and second side is less cooperative, you can always place your left foot on the ground in front of you. So you're, instead of stacking your shins, you're bringing one shin in front of the other. And again, you can be upright here, or you can choose to lean forward. And it really has more to do with how open your hips are and where you're finding the stretch than anything else. So you don't push yourself to the next step if you're getting enough juice already where you are, right? There's no need to push forward. There's no like reward other than injury if you push yourself where you don't need to go in your yoga practice. So if you are leaning forward, begin to sit back up. Take your left leg extended out to the side. Right foot comes in. We're not like putting the foot in the thigh. We're just right knee is bent, left leg is straight. That's good enough. Turn towards your bent right knee. Place your left hand down. Reach your right arm up, extend, and then reach towards your left foot. Inhale, lift back up. Bring both legs out in front. Take another little swish side to side with your knees. And let's come onto our backs. So we're going to take a spinal twist and then move from there into Shavasana. So if there are props that you like to use for Shavasana, I always like to have a bolster and a couple blocks and a blanket. I really like Shavasana, so I tend to live it up when I'm in Shavasana. Okay, so get those props ready if you're using them. And then lie down on your back, hug your knees into your chest. Extend your arms out to either side and then drop your legs towards the right side. And then inhale, knees back to center. Exhale, knees to the left side. Inhale, knees back to center. Rock a little bit. Take a happy baby if you want one final. In a stretchy pose. And then figure out how you're going to arrange yourself for your final resting pose. And we're going to take a short Shavasana. If you want to take a longer Shavasana, you can always kind of turn off or leave the meeting and then stay for as long as you'd like. And then when you settle in, close your eyes. Relax your face and your jaw. And just let your breath move easily and naturally through your body. Begin to deepen your breathing. Find small movements in your body, wiggling your fingers and your toes. Roll your wrists and your ankles. And then draw your legs towards your chest. Just rock gently from side to side. As you're ready, roll yourself over onto one side. And then keeping your head heavy and your eyes closed, push yourself up to a seated position. Let's bring our hands to heart center. Thank you all for sharing your practice this evening. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.